Hey everyone, welcome back to Notes to Self. My name is Melanie.
And I am Cory.
If you don't know who we were both born and raised in a polygamous church here in Utah called the AUB, or the Apostolic United Brethren. I was raised with 4 mothers and 34 brothers and sisters.
And my dad had 9 wives and 39 children that he raised in a compound up in Pinesdale, Montana. So big house, little house next to it.
Right. So here we are talking about sister wives. And we are watching season 20, episode 4. And what we're doing is, before we get started on this episode, or there you go. It's You Need to Shut Up. That's the name of the episode. I was going to put that up in just a second.
Oh, okay.
It works. It works for us, right? So, this episode had a lot of juice in it. I have 4 pages of notes. It's taken us a couple of days to process through some of the anger that we felt by watching this episode, and got a bunch of clips to show you guys of this episode. So every time we watch an episode and it's this like rage inducing or frustrates us, then we definitely always want to remember to remind everyone to do your healing work.
Yep.
So if you are a human with a human body, then you have experienced some level of trauma, and we highly encourage you to find whatever modality that works for you, whether that is therapy of some sort or walks in nature, but something to get your start your healing journey so that you can love your people deeper, and you deserve to be loved. They deserve to be loved. And healing is always our top priority here on our channel. And these episodes just remind us of exactly why healing is so important, because you're seeing so much unhealed trauma coming from so many of the I don't even know what I want to call them, actors, players, parts of the show that are so unhealed, and you can see it, and it's coming out on camera, mostly between Cody and Robin.
But we're healing every single day watching this. So it's a constant, we're constantly working on healing stuff that from our childhood, from our young adult thing. Even though we've changed completely our whole lifestyle, things do bring it back up of us remembering what it was like growing up in this. So
yeah, it triggers a lot for us. It's things that we're like, oh, we don't need to work on that anymore. And then we watch something like this, and then we watch the way Cody, refers to his family or interacts with his children. And then it's like, it brings up all of that. Oh my gosh, I remember when my dad used to do those types of things. So neither one of us have actually ever lived polygamy. We were just born and raised in it. And so here we go, giving you our perspective on it.
Yep. From a kid's point of view, growing up in it. So
yeah. So on this episode, according to the title, You Need to Shut Up. I was curious as to what that was going to entail. Like, where were we going to see that sentence in the episode? It wasn't where I expected it to be, but yeah, we start the episode off with Mary and Jen, and they're on a dating app. And I don't know, we won't cover too much of that because it doesn't really like refer to polygamy as much, but
it does. I mean, it's interesting because when you come out of polygamy, there's a certain way that all the polygamists dated. And so Mary is learning how to date, and she's out in the world now. It's more difficult. You use apps, you do meet and greets. That this is the new way to date that we would go to dances, community get-togethers, things like that. You knew most of the families within
your parents
in the AUB. Yeah. The girls definitely weren't encouraged to look outside of the AUB for a potential spouse.
I personally never have ever. I'm 51. I've never dated anyone outside of the AUB. I only really dated 3 people. 2 of them I married, and the other one was an AUB member as well. So we just were not taught to go outside of our community.
And Mary is for the first time learning how to date for herself, which is awkward because usually she would date for her husband by getting to know other wives to come in. And so it's a whole awkward,
It's easier to
yeah, you have to
like a
shift.
job application
Yeah.
for your husband.
Yeah. Now she's shifting, looking for a potential spouse for herself instead of looking for somebody. She's been used to dating other women to get them into their family. So it's an awkward way to,
She's
it's a new way to date.
I have to
So
learn how to date for myself,
yeah.
not for my husband.
Mhm.
What in the world? So yeah, it is awkward. But
It's a new experience. It was weird for me to date. I mean, outside of the AUB too. So
mostly men will date outside of the AUB, trying to convert women and bring them
Yeah.
in. It's not a lot of women that will date outside of the AUB. Most of the women are taught to stay within the AUB because there is one man for
multiple
5 women.
Yeah.
And so the men typically will go outside to date somebody, convert them, bring them back in, but women do not do that. It's not as easy. You would think that it would be easier to convert a man into polygamy than it would be to convert a woman, but it's not. Most women tend to be more, at least in the AUB, the women tend to be more spiritually inclined, tend to be closer to God, as we've heard Cody explain about Robin multiple times. And so that's why women tend to convert a lot easier than men do. I wouldn't say easier because it's just as hard on them as it is. I think it's harder on women to convert, but women will convert looking for sisterhood, looking for community, looking for a sense of belonging. And that is one of the things that this religion provides is community and sense of belonging.
Yep.
And so I just wrote down, there's a lot of judgment around the dating app.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
No, and just Robin's like, I would never do it. She doesn't have to do a dating app. Usually there's a lot of men within the AUB that were interested.
Yeah.
And she uses God's dating app. I mean, she's so close to God and prays to him, and he opens up things for her like new houses and families. And so if she ever needed to date again, she would just
go by the Spirit.
Talk to God or God's mouthpiece, Melanie's dad, and marry him. So.
Okay, and let's clear that up really quick because a lot of people are like, wait, does Robin have her eyes set on your dad? No, that was actually a joke on one of our lives. There was a joke that was brought up that said, if Robin does leave Cody, will she go after Mel's dad? So my dad, if, for those of you that don't know, is the current leader of the AUB. And so, yeah, I mean, if she's going to go for it, she might as well go for a high score and go all the way up to the top and date the big cheese. And so it's not that she has her eyes set on my dad, not that my dad has his eyes set on her. It was a joke on a live that's just kind of rolled out of control. An inside joke, which I hate doing inside jokes. I want everyone to understand what we're talking about.
But she says she still believes in the faith. She's still communicating. I believe in this is my faith. This is, I still believe in it. So if she was to leave Cody, she would probably
set her eyes,
because her whole
big prize
goal is to get into the celestial kingdom. Cody has failed her in that. The other women have failed her in that. She would want a guaranteed ticket into
she has said that
heaven.
She would only do it if it was a guarantee.
Yeah.
Well, marrying the big cheese is kind of a guarantee.
Marrying the PSR is the guarantee that she needs to get into the celestial kingdom. So.
Right. Well, and so each one of the wives comments on it. Robin's comment was, why would I use a dating app? That feels so disconnected. What are they doing it just for a hookup? Which tells you where her mind is at. Christine's is, yeah, she got on a dating app. It was full of swingers and open relationships. Utah is highly, highly known for its swingers. Unfortunately, we are a state where swingers are out of control all over the place. And open relationships are very...
Which we don't judge. They're just living polygamy without the attachment.
Without the religious attachment to it.
So religious attachment to it. So yeah, if you want to live that way, that's awesome. Thumbs up. So.
Right. And Janelle says she would never be on an app. It has to happen organically for her. She just won't do it. I feel like that's me. I would never, heaven forbid you passed away or something and I found myself single again. I would never go on an app.
Well, and all Christine is saying
no judgment for people who go on apps. I'd stay single for the rest of my life.
All Christine is saying there is that is a lifestyle that people were like, hey, come hang out. And she's like, no, I already lived that lifestyle.
I don't want to do
I'm
it again.
good. Yeah, I'm good, because I'm sure they're very similar in jealousies in all
Right.
sorts of stuff that goes on. So
We
it is.
personally know a lot of swingers.
Yeah.
Not that we are personally swingers. Let me clear that up. We're not, but we know a lot of people who are. A lot of my siblings are. A lot of, yeah.
Thanks for clearing that up.
We are. We do. We know a lot of them, and
Yeah, they live polygamy.
It's caused a lot of issues in a lot of marriages. I don't know one set of swingers that it hasn't destroyed their relationship. So I don't know.
Or polygamous.
If they can get it to work, yeah. For us, just with the religious aspect of it, it's just it doesn't feel like many relationships survive.
Well, it's when you get.
I just judged the hell out of that.
You
Sorry.
did.
I really didn't mean to.
You went. Yeah. Usually, especially when the families start to get big. I mean, my dad had 9 wives. At a certain point, everybody kind of worked together and stuff. And then once he got so many wives in, then there was some disharmony, and wives were leaving or getting released and stuff like that, because then they weren't all on the same page. So you get enough wives in there and it's going to dissolve. So you have to get wives in there that are harmonious with each other, and that rarely happens. So
right. Well, I didn't mean to judge the hell out of it. It just, we've seen too many failed relationships. Cody did come back and say, what?
Too many failed relationships all the way around, in monogamy, in polygamy,
absolutely,
and all that stuff.
I mean,
and it's usually,
we got divorced for 2 years and got back together. So no, we see it. But Cody says he would never be on an app, because how would you get the real essence of somebody? I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like, you need her hips pressed up against you and 6-inch stilettos on top of a convertible as your engagement photos in order to, inhale her entire essence.
So he would need a scratch and sniff app. So to be able to,
gosh, that's hilarious. Yeah. And then they're talking about, like, what age is a cougar? At what point is that a cougar if you're going after someone younger? Because Mary's got a couple of younger guys on this app that she was talking about. I thought that part was hilarious. I don't know what would constitute a cougar. Maybe I'm not versed enough in the world of dating.
Or what did they say on for the guys? Because they mentioned if a guy goes for somebody's way younger, which happens a lot in the AUB,
that I can't remember.
I can't remember.
He was oh gosh, what did they call it? They said something.
But basically, kind of the rule for a cougar or for a pervert, well, I don't think it was whatever the other word was that they use for the men, is probably as long as the woman or the man is
hussy. Did he say hussy or something like that?
Is older than your oldest child, you're probably good. So
you want your whoever you're dating to be older than your oldest.
It's always awkward when you're dating somebody younger than your children. So your children's age, even that's awkward.
Yeah. So. And for those of you who are watching this at a different time, it is Halloween. It's Halloween in a few days. So we brought out our Halloween props.
This is the celestial kingdom, sitting on a porch, swinging with your sister wives and your doll, with your purity bracelet.
Can't really see the purity necklace on there. Cory went and found a purity necklace that
there it is.
She's holding on to. She's clutching that necklace as tight as she can to give that to somebody who works,
holding on to her purity,
who earned it. I don't know what he had to do to earn anything from Robin, but he did. So then they're talking about selling Coyote Pass. They talk about how Cody calls and tells Janelle, I just want to put everybody's name on each parcel. And so Janelle's hoping that Cody does stay, that he does. And we all know how that ends now, but in the time she doesn't know this. And so she's hoping that he doesn't get greedy. All the wives heard about him wanting to buy this new property. And so that puts obviously red flags up for Janelle, because he says he's going to be fair with Coyote Pass, but now is he going to get greedy? And now is he going to try to keep whatever portion he can to help pay for this multi-million-dollar home that they're purchasing?
Yeah.
You have something?
No.
Okay. And then Janelle's like, it's going to be a big mortgage on this new property, which it is. Being somebody that has done mortgages for 25 plus years, that's going to be a payment on their new property for sure. And especially with the way interest rates have been over the last couple of years, that payment's going to be in the 5 digits monthly. And so Janelle just was wondering or concerned, and very rightfully so, because Cody and Robin could get very greedy, and there's not much that those women could do about it at that point.
Well, you say greedy, but in their mindset, in the polygamous man's mindset, they were building up the kingdom, his kingdom, and when they chose to leave, whether he pushed them out or not, then they shouldn't have any access to what they were all working together at one point for. When you leave, you just leave with nothing. Because that's 99% of the time when somebody leaves the AUB, they leave with nothing. They can't take anything. To be loyal to the church or the family, you give everything over legally to the church. And so if you decide to leave, you're leaving and starting completely over. So
right.
These ladies leaving is something new, where they're leaving with equity from a home or equity from some property that they had their names on legally.
And most men try not to let any women have anything legally in their name. So Cody and his little brother Michael, are helping to pack up the inside of the house. One of the things that Cody talks about is that there's a 19-year age gap between him and Michael, and that this is extremely common. I believe Michael and Cody are from the same mother. In my family, I'm 26. I'm the oldest. I'm 26 years older than my mom's baby. She had 11 children, and I was 26 when she was born. So these kind of age gaps are what's sad about it is there is 19 years between Cody and Michael. And that's a lot of differences between husbands and wives. So it's pretty common for a husband to marry a woman 19, 20 years younger than him.
Yeah. And I have, my mother had 7 children, and she did it all in 14 years. So I'm 14 years older than my youngest sister. But I have siblings from other mothers. And so I think my youngest brother is 21 years younger than me. So
right. And from the oldest biological child to the youngest biological child, didn't we calculate it was like,
and I have an older
35
brother
or 40 years?
Yeah, I have an older brother that is 16 years older than me.
Yeah. So it's pretty common.
16 to 21. So that is a lot of kids spread out over the years. So
yeah. Well, and then Cody's talking about how him and Robin haven't had any time to have any alone time or getaway time. They haven't had any romantic time. So they become battle buddies instead of lovers. And I'm looking at him like, welcome to real life. Like in real life, most people don't get that. None of his original wives got anything like that. No. They don't get these weekend getaways that TLC pays for. They don't get these.
They only got those because TLC was paying for it. Before that, they were working.
Right. They only got an 11-day honeymoon because TLC paid for it.
There you go.
And they only got these types of things. And so they have been used to having this be a custom of their relationship, which is not common. We have said this before on our channel. The only time that people truly kind of, especially for a woman, is your birthday and your anniversary. And those are the two things that you look forward to all year long, because those are almost guaranteed that you're going to have a weekend away with your husband, or more than one night in a row. You'll typically get 2 nights in a row.
Probably the only time that he ever had was with Mary at the beginning before Janelle came in.
Right.
Then after that, they were working. So, yep. Only getaway time was probably with Mary.
Yeah. Because the other wives, you couldn't afford it. I mean, you've got a dozen children. You can't afford to do that kind of stuff. It's like, do we take a weekend away or do we buy shoes and socks for our children?
Yep.
Oh, we buy shoes and socks. Hopefully,
For food.
The parent does that. One of the things he's talking about is that he's got to get his stank on because he's stinky, and he talks about getting his stank on, which is, to me, the digression from how Cody started Sister Wives trying to be as, morally upright as he possibly could, to now he's talking about Robin. He wants Robin to feel comfortable flirting with him in public, and he wants her to slap his ass. I audibly gasped out loud when he said that, because to me that is so disgusting. I'll bet that highly offended Robin when she heard that, because it reduces her to, in the AUB, you're not an average woman. You are above. You're a queen. You're a priestess unto your husband. You are a queen. You're a daughter of God. And he just demoted her and made her sound like just any sort of Jezebel that's going to slap his ass as they're walking in public.
Well, and he's what is it? He's basically, he is a monogamous now, so he can behave as other monogamous that he's seen growing up.
And that's fine. I'll do that to you. That's not an issue. But what the issue is that he came out so holier than thou at the very beginning of the show and saying, we're not going to talk about sex. We're not going to talk about our religious doctrine or our religious dogma. And we're not going to talk about intimate relationships. And now it's like he's digressed from holding these relationships with sacredness to slap my ass in public, baby.
Well, and I think he's doing it trying to make the other 3 wives jealous, hoping that she would kind of, that they should behave like, this is how we are going to behave her now that we're monogamous and I found the love of my life. So I think it's more that when he's talking to like that on the camera, yes, he's trying to get Robin, to his sweet, shy wife, to change to the way that they were at the beginning of dating and or marriage, but trying to get her to behave the way she was
right
at the beginning, but where she doesn't want to do that anymore. She's won her prize, and trying to make the other wives jealous. And there's an interesting, I have been watching the last couple episodes, and each one of the wives, even though they're frustrated with him, are saying kind things about how Cody used to be. He used to behave this way. There was a light in his eyes. So they're saying, Mary says that there used to be a light in his eyes. He used to treat us loving and kind, and she hasn't seen that for years. Yeah. Even though Janelle and Christine are irritated with him, they do give him credit that he used to be a different kind of person. And Robin I have not seen, I mean, somebody can show me a clip or something that I'm missing, but I haven't seen her talk about him in an endearing way for 2 seasons now. So
not even a remembering in an endearing way.
She's talking about herself being close to God and doing this stuff, but she is a victim. She's a victim of these women, and she's a victim of Cody. And Cody's is also saying, I'm a victim. I'm a victim of these women who left. But he's also speaking out loud that he is worried that she doesn't see him in the same way that these other women are seeing him. And I think there's a bit of regret in he's wanting to make amends, I guess, and because he's seeing that Robin is in my eyes, she's becoming very, very cold towards
she's
Cody.
Pulled back extremely. Yeah. Well, and I even wrote that down. He wants Robin to start getting more comfortable flirting with him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she pressed her hips up against you on the top of a convertible with 6-inch stilettos on while you were engaged and you had 3 other wives. She was not even your wife yet. I'm pretty sure she's comfortable. If she's not flirting with you, it's because she doesn't want to,
Exactly.
not because she's not comfortable with it.
And that was at the very beginning when she's not that way anymore. And she keeps repeating that she still believes in the faith wholeheartedly. And so she is setting it up where she's not going to behave the way Cody wants because it's against her religious beliefs. And if they were to separate in the future, and that behavior,
another family,
that behavior is shown on TV, yes, the beginning is iffy, but she wants to kind of show that she is still a part of that faith. She's been touting it over and over and over again. So
yeah. So I think that she literally is not flirting with him anymore because maybe she doesn't find him attractive like she used to. It used to be she was after a goal. Now she's gotten the goal and it's not what she wanted it to be, maybe. And so she's pulled way back, and Cody wants her to be that aggressive, hey, come after me, baby, come get me. And she just doesn't want to. So she's not. And then he always apologizes. I don't mean to sound crass here. Yeah, you do. That's exactly why you just said it. That's because you want to sound crass.
Yeah.
You want to put it publicly out there that she's not flirting with you enough and you need her to flirt with you. It's a sort of a public shaming. Like, you used to be this way, now you're not this way. And Robin even said it in the last episode. We've never struggled in that department before. I don't know why he's creating this problem. He's creating this problem because she's pulled back and she's not as flirty with him as she used to be.
And we could be absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
They could live happily forever after and be the most loving couple.
But he no longer treats her like a queen or a priestess or a daughter of God.
It sounds like he doesn't even believe in the faith anymore. He quotes some of the stuff, but this is what happens if you don't have 3 wives to get into the celestial kingdom. So, this is, So
then we move on to Peyton. He's struggling. He's talking to Christine. He's struggling and wants to be close to Maddie, wants to be, that's the thing, is that we're seeing the rest of the family talk about moving on because of Garrison's passing. And they're trying to rebuild their lives because of that. Mm-hmm. They're no longer trying to rebuild their lives because they're no longer married to Cody.
Yeah, they're
not done with that. Yeah, they've already moved on.
They've moved on.
And the children are trying to move on.
Yeah.
And the only thing Cody and Robin can say is, oh, the pain and the hurt. We're trying to move on. We're trying to move on from these divorces. It's not even trying to move on because of the passing of their son. And so I think that this is one of the pros. We try to point out the pros of polygamy when we see them. And this is one of the pros of polygamy, is that Hayden is struggling and he has another mother that he can go to, that she can nurture him in a way that his own biological mother can't nurture him, or he doesn't receive it
the same way.
Exactly. So. And so he's able to go out to North Carolina and start a new life. And what a wonderful opportunity that is for him. And I know Peyton gets a lot of hate online, and we have not seen a lot of Peyton's public appearances, so we don't.
All I've seen is what he's on the show. So
yeah, and we haven't even watched all of the show, so we don't know. But he gets a lot of hate online, and yet here's this kid who, I mean, maybe he's not a kid anymore, but here's this young man who has lost his best friend, and he's struggling, and he's trying to figure out like how to work through life. And fortunately, he has support system of family.
And it's not only that. He's lost a father figure. Mm-hmm.
He has.
But made connections with his brothers.
Right.
And wrapped up in that, and then felt like he lost his best friend too.
Well, and he'd obviously be better served to have an example in Logan versus Cody on how to treat women and how to be a man. Yeah. Logan would give him a lot more beneficial examples.
I took Cody a lot more advice from my older brothers than I did from my dad. So,
right.
Growing up. So
then we go. I wrote hussy. Men are polygamous hussies.
Oh, okay.
That's what she said. We just had hussies. Okay. I have 4.5 pages of notes. But it says, and then this is where I wrote down, Christine and Cody and Janelle do give props to Cody for who he used to be. And we don't see Robin doing that anymore. And then also you can kind of see that these women they are deconstructing and healing. When Mary says that it's a privilege to be in her space, not everybody gets to be in her space. This is one thing that a lot of polygamous people struggle with because we grew up in such large groups of people. We didn't have a lot of privacy. We didn't have a lot of one-on-one space. And so there's a lot of us who feel that, especially the two of us that are the oldest, feel that obligation to entertain people all the time, to have people in our space all the time. And it's not a privilege for people to be in our space. It's our responsibility or our obligation. It's something that we're currently healing through too, because we've allowed our siblings, whether they're toxic, whether they're not toxic, because of our position in the family as being the oldest, we've allowed them to come into our space. And we haven't always learned that it's a privilege to be in our space. We haven't always learned, would you say?
Yeah. Well,
that's something we're currently working on.
Well, and as one of the older children, I had a lot of brothers and sisters who looked up to me. And so it is one of those things where I feel an obligation that if they want to reach out to me or come and talk to me,
right,
that I am there for them. It's almost, we're kind of pseudo parents to a lot of our
at a very young age.
Yeah. And so, and sometimes it's like, wait a minute, we got this going on with our kids now that we're raising, and don't want to push anybody out, but it's something where sometimes you can get overwhelmed. So
right. And so
it's cool for her to say that, because I was like, yeah, oh yeah, you're right.
And I don't think she means it in a negative way of like, I'm better than you, you can't be in my space. Nope. It's just something that when you live in a limited amount of space in a home, and you have 5 times the amount of people that should probably be living in that home, and you have literally no space to yourself, then it's something that as you get older, you cherish and you protect. And it's something that at 51, I'm just learning how to protect that, because I have felt a responsibility. But all right. And then Christine and Janelle, I feel like maybe this is just being done for promotional to get people to watch the show. I personally don't think that there's a rift between Janelle and Christine and the grandkids and people moving out to North Carolina. I feel like, does it sting for Christine? I'm sure it does. It stings for me that I have a daughter in North Carolina and she's going to be having children soon and I'm not there to see them. That does sting. But at the same time, I think, knowing Christine and her character, she is more grateful that Janelle is going to be there in a place where she can't be. And so I feel like this is just something that the show, that they're throwing these teasers out, trying to get people, oh my gosh, Christine and Janelle are going to start feuding over children and grandchildren. I don't think that's the case.
And I feel like Christine and Janelle both trust each other, that their kids can, that both of them have the best interests of their kids in mind and love both of those kids.
Right.
Either or of their kids. And that is an awesome bond. And so, yes, they don't mean they all get along all the time. She did say that she felt like she'd hurt Janelle's feelings, but they can get through that. She has complete faith that if her kids go out there and around Janelle's going to pour the love on them just like she would. And so,
and here's another thing about polygamy too, that I feel like is so important to point out, is the fact that even if these two did have some sort of falling out, let's say, these kids have already gone through the process of losing a parent in Cody, of watching their family separate. These children would not allow this rift to continue because they love both of these mothers so much that the children would do everything they could to bring the family back to one unit. I know, I see that in our family. I see that in your family.
I really, so that is the positive. Again, we're trying to point out positives.
Yeah.
I feel very lucky that I have mothers, so that I can.
And when there was a rift in your family, the children got together and pulled the mothers back together as much as they could. So I think that is definitely one of the positives about polygamy, is that the children love each other so much. They love the mother so much. They're not going to allow this type of rift. And because of the character of who Janelle and Christine are, yes, there might be hurt feelings, but they're not going to let that divide their family. They're just not. They're not that type of character. They're going to do whatever they can to keep their family as much of a family unit as possible.
Well, and
in my experience,
they are truly they're the hub left of the family. So
Rob and Cody want to say that they are for financial purposes, but for relationship purposes, Christine and Janelle are the hub of the family.
But that's the difference. You talk about the thought pattern behind in this episode. Even his brother has to remind him that they are your kids too, because Robin and Cody are talking about their kids, their family, as just Robin and Cody's family. And so where the other are talking about all of the kids, all three of the wives are grieving
Garrison.
Those are all their kids. So it's an amazing, it is an amazing, that is the great part about having such a large family.
But those sound bites promote the show and sell the show. But I don't think that there's really a rift there.
Yep.
And then we get on to talking about, Mary is talking about when her and Cody dated in the AUB. And I don't know how this is in other groups, but in the AUB, you don't really single date unless you are right on the verge of getting married. Most of the time you group date. And so Mary has not really had the experience of single dating anyone. It's more of a group date situation. In fact, Cody and Mary came on a group date to my house at a party at our house. And that's when they kind of came out as, oh yeah, look, we're kind of a couple, but we're in a group setting. And so now she's got to learn. And again, like Cory said earlier, she's only learned to date for her husband. She hasn't always learned how to date for herself because it's a group scenario. You're not really one-on-one dating. And if you read Christine's book, she even says that in the book, they didn't really one-on-one date at all until, they talked on the phone, they did things like that, but anything they did together, they did with Mary before Janelle came into the family. And so this whole dating scene is going to be a new experience for Mary in her 50s. Same with Christine, and obviously Janelle has had a different experience not being raised in the AUB.
And correct me if I'm wrong. I remember seeing when I was younger, there would be groups of girls that were super good friends, and they were all kind of they were even kind of,
we could be great sister wives.
Dating as sister wives. Yeah, let's go find a guy that we could be good sister wives in. So it was a different kind of dating. You'd have groups of girls that were looking to
be married to
one guy. So
yeah. And I know that sounds, in the outside world, that sounds like what? Weird. But in the AUB, that's how, you'd get your set of friends and you're like, we love each other so much. Let's all get married to the same guy, and boom, instantly ruin our relationship. Like, let's not try to hold on to that thing at all. And so then I really, really appreciate the conversation between Mike and Cody as they're packing up the house. We're actually going to show you a bunch of those clips, because there was so much going on with that. Oh, but I skipped this one about Cody. Christine and Janelle learned to do a lot of things together, and now they're having to learn to do a lot of things separate that they haven't had to do before.
Follow their own dreams.
And so it's not that their relationship has splinters or it's hurting or their jealousy and anger. It's that they're learning how to do life separate, because for the last 25 years, they've had to learn how to do life together. And now they have to relearn how to do it separately while nurturing and caring for all these children together. Where Cody was just like, peace out, I don't care. Raise the kids, they're your children. These women have not let go of that. They want to be, and so that's where when Christine said that, when Janelle's like, I get all the grandbabies, and Christine comes in, you need to shut up. When that line came in right there, I was laughing. Because other content creators will take that as, oh, there's a feud going on. I don't think so.
But that's Christine joking.
It's banter.
Yeah.
They're bantering with each other, and they're trying to, but does it make Christine question? I do. I'm like, I question my girls in North Carolina. I'm like, why don't you want to raise your kids around me? And she's like, I do, but this is my
She's
home
building a
now.
life,
And
yeah.
so, yeah. And so it's not that people don't want to be there. It's not, it's just they've built a home, and they're building in their new life together.
Yep. And it's our responsibility to go out and be next to grandkids, because we're old grandparents now. So that's going to be the exciting part.
We're getting there. Okay, so one of the things, we're going to show you this clip here. Let me get to the right one. Yep. And with Cody and Michael, talking about the move, they're moving Cody, and they're talking about the move. And Michael says to him, how is Robin like being the only wife? And the way Cody's frown on his face says everything. He instantly goes to,
well, he's got,
she's not happy.
Robin's Muppet face he uses, like I can't even
that meat.
Turn it down. Yeah, there you go. I can't do that. So
but Cody's face tells everything about how the struggle that this relationship is genuinely in. I think that their marriage, because Cody doesn't know how, based on what we've seen, again, we haven't seen all the seasons. Based on what we've seen, Cody doesn't know how to stay and face a hard situation. He runs, he moves, he does whatever. So they're moving this house as a way to fix or band-aid their relationship. But you can see these little moments that say so much about what's really happening.
Yeah. Well, they're both in victim mode. To be honest, Cody and Robin are always playing the victim in these, and so they've been victimized by the other three wives, and now they have to move because the house brings up too many memories of their victim. And so if they could get into a house where they could be together, then that'll all go away. They can make
fix all of these problems,
happy memories. But what he says right here tells me that that's not the truth. So he's sharing with us that he says in here specifically, you guys haven't seen Jack. What you've seen,
how hard this has actually been on us.
Yeah, what you've seen on TV, what they've allowed us to see on TV is him and Janelle's breakup and argument, him and Christine's, him and Mary's. So we've seen a lot of what was going on, the hard stuff that has gone on in those things. But what he's saying here is, you haven't seen Jack. We haven't seen anything that what him and Robin have gone through behind closed doors, the arguments that they have had. So he's letting us know
things have been tough.
What you have seen with the other three wives, you haven't even seen anything with the one I'm married to right now. So in my opinion.
Here we go.
Robin and I have lived in Flagstaff for 6 years. 5 of those years have been in this house. This 5 years have been the 5 years that my family has just eroded, crumbled, and moved on. You haven't seen Jack for what happened.
Mm-mm.
It was very, very painful experience. There was such a want to.
And as we all know, Cody's the only one who has these overwhelming experiences with when he got COVID and he had a fever of 99 point whatever, he was on death's door. So Cody's the only one that has these major experiences. He's so self-absorbed. He doesn't even stop to see what did he put his family through.
Well, and they're both, him and Robin, are victims. And this clip right here was me going, okay, we have seen a lot of the stuff that's gone on TV, but he is talking about the turmoil that him and Robin went through on that house, that they feel like that they're in a better place, but that's the turmoil of her yelling at him to make things right with the other wives so that paycheck can keep coming in. There's been major arguments between Cody and Robin in that house. That's why he's wanting to get out of it.
Right.
In my opinion. So just growing up as a kid, if the kids could talk of what have gone on in that house, because I guarantee not many of the other wives have been in that house for that long, and they've never had arguments or things like that. He's talking about the turmoil him and Robin have been having in that house. So.
Right. And I mean, just this whole conversation, you can see just how he's almost in despair about his relationship with Robin.
Mm-hmm.
And so his MO is just pack up and move. Like, just get something bigger, better, and nicer, because, and like Janelle said in this episode, Cody thinks that the grass is greener in another pasture. And yet he doesn't stop to water his own grass to make sure that his own grass stays green. So he's constantly jumping for the next move.
Well, that sacred cow has to have green pastures. He's moving the house because he's trying to make her happy. She is not happy.
Mm-mm.
She is not happy with this situation at all, even though she got exactly what she wanted, but she wanted them to still be around paying into
they went from 5 paychecks down to 2 paychecks almost like overnight. And so that's a huge...
She went from 5 paychecks down to 2.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously Cody's not... I mean,
Cody's buying his stuff, so...
He can't afford a full mouth of teeth, so that one's causing him some grief. I know. His teeth, I'll never get over it. I'm sorry. I just think that it looks so trashy. And he actually doesn't have them in these episodes. It's just on the couch when he's talking about them. But then in this little clip, it's Cody's talking about, is his value diminished to Robin? And it is. Another thing that we were saying earlier is that he now treats her like she's any common Jezebel Gentile woman of the world. He no longer holds her and keeps her safe as a queen or a priestess or a daughter of God.
Although he's saying he is.
But he's not when he gets on TV and he's like, I just want her to slap my ass.
Well, he's wanting the girlfriend Robin back, and she's not.
She doesn't want to be the girlfriend.
She had
Robin.
to do that. She had to put that show on for a couple of years to get a legal wife, and then she was done. So as soon as she got that legal wife status, she was golden.
So this clip is going to show just how far detached Robin is from this situation, because she expresses in here about my religion. So there's she's starting, in my opinion of watching her, she's starting to resent and be angry towards Cody because she still has ownership of the religion. Not that she ever wanted to live the religion based on her own actions, but she still has a level of ownership, and Cody's not providing what she needs. And so the resentment is growing, and you can see that.
You said just starting. He made the statement that they've been in there 6 years.
Well,
and 5 of them were misery. So, and those 5 years of misery in that house is not coming from outside sources. So
right. Well, Robin herself said he needs to learn until you change what's going on in here.
Yep.
Then that's going to follow you to wherever you go. Well, her losing her religion to Cody not following his religion is piling up the resentment. You can see it.
She hasn't lost her religion. She refuses to lose it.
Yeah.
So. Robin struggled with the whole thing. I mean, she married me under the premise of plural marriage with the expectation of plural marriage. And when the other wives left, I wondered if my value to her was diminished.
Absolutely.
I'm still wondering.
Yep.
Yeah,
good
sure. Being the only wife is great in some ways, but there's also ways that it's not great. This was not the life that I expected, and not the life that I planned for myself.
But it is life she created.
While I love Cody, I did not ever intend or expect or want to have him to myself. I always wanted to live plural marriage. I wanted to live my religion.
She can't. We made her.
That was then he's basically said it was the covenant they made, and she still holds that covenant. He was trying to hold that covenant over
Christine's head,
the other wife's head, but that covenant, he feels like he never broke with the other 3 wives. They broke their covenants by leaving him. So
and so you can see it on her face. Also,
and his worry,
what she says and what she does in just the couple seasons that we have experienced are never in alignment. She says one thing, does something totally different. And so I don't see that this is any different. She claims she wants to live her religion. She claims that she never intended on being the only wife, which is to me a straight up lie, because that's the life she created. She's the one who created her being the only wife. She's the one that created, she's like, I intended to live my religion. So that's a huge indicator of where she's at right now, because she's still taking ownership of the religion. Whether she wants to truly believe it or not, she's gaining resentment for Cody, and you can see it. And so she's pulling out, while other wives have a remembrance of him, and they're trying this. When Cody did this, he was wonderful. When he did this, he was a great father. When he did this, and Robin's over here like, no, I have the life now that wasn't, and she can't say anything nice.
Yeah, I haven't heard her say anything genuinely nice about him. And she gives him the half hugs and
the side hugs.
And the line from Maddie keeps popping up every time she's on the screen. I'm like, oh my gosh, if her mouth is moving,
she's lying.
There's a lie coming out of it. So.
Right. Yeah. And so then Michael and
because this next one,
Michael and Cody are talking about, Michael's saying, you were the coolest polygamist I ever knew. And what's funny is Cody doesn't quite catch that. He goes, well, I'm not a polygamist anymore. I'm still cool, but I'm not a polygamist anymore. And Mike just smirks at him like, that's not what I meant. You're not cool anymore either.
Well, it's a little brother rather than the big brother. And it's you were the coolest polygamist I ever knew. And then you're not.
Right.
And he's like, well, I'm not even a polygamist.
Yeah, you're not cool anymore.
It's a little brother razzing him.
And that is the thing. I agree that when Cody came into the AUB, he came into the AUB like a storm. He really did. When you are, when your dating pool is, you have to be worried about dating your cousins or your uncles or your whatever, and your dating pool is so small, somebody like Cody, who was very charismatic, very happy. I remember the very first time he came out to the AUB, and he was like, just came in like this huge, like tornado almost. And all the girls were swooning over him because he was this huge presence in a small pool of dating options. And so all the girls swooned over him. All the girls were in love with him. It wasn't that he was in the real world. He wouldn't have been able to hold his own the way he did, but in such a close culture, he was able to stand out and be this big, huge presence that, women swooned over because they weren't used to seeing men have that big of a presence.
And he had just come in to the AUB off of a mission where he had studied for 2 years,
so he knew
their religion and what to say, and that was attractive to a lot of young ladies. So.
Yeah, because not very many men knew they don't know the religion. They don't know the scriptures. All they know is what they have been told from their parents, but they don't bother to go study the actual religion, the actual doctrine, the actual, which is something Cory has done, something that I have done in our own different ways. Cory's definitely more scripturally versed, where I feel like I'm a little bit more of the doctrinal versed.
I used to be.
You still are.
That stuff stuck in my head, so I can still quote it. But it was me learning about all of the scriptures, all of their belief systems, and how they contradicted each other that actually opened my eyes up to me not believing in the religion anymore.
And this is where so many people don't want to go study.
They don't want to study too hard.
The minute that you do, you question and you start to, okay, wait a minute. This prophet said this and this prophet said this. And
so which one do you follow?
Contradicting each other. And this is what happens when you have an apostasy. So the mainstream Mormon church, you have an apostasy of one polygamous church, and then they break off into two different groups. Like the AUB and the FLDS used to be one group. Now they've broken off and they're into two different groups. And so you see these people that they don't want to study. They just want to listen to what their father said and do that, because if they start to study, they question and then they break away.
And they judge the church because the church has changed so many of their teachings over the years, and they used to make fun of the LDS Church that it was follow the living prophet, and yet in the
They do
AUB
the same
right
thing.
now it's the same thing. The new prophet is going to say something different than older prophets have, and you listen to the new prophet, and if you don't agree with the new prophet, then you're out. So
Right. And so this is where the faking comes in. This is what we've said. We didn't think that the Browns tried to go out there and purposely dupe the public at all. It's just this is where some of the faking comes in. So take a look at this clip right here.
Hard. We're like faking through it. I'm so happy, you know, and it was just a struggle. So it's like other polygamists are watching and they're seeing this and they're going, holy crap, look at this, like total consummate, just dissolving of the family, the craziest, just failure. Or whatever. Other people are going, yeah, now they're out of polygamy, hallelujah. And other people are going, yeah, you really botched it. And there's an irony here because Christine told me 15 years ago she hated polygamy. I just didn't know what to do with it. It was a shock to me. I just sort of like shook it off and in a sense ignored it.
yeah, and that's interesting because I only viewed polygamy from a child's point of view, watching it, and there were so many hard times as a polygamous kid that I didn't want to live it. So
Right.
she in her book, she was saying that it seemed more of a great way to live. And I see where some of the points that she talks about, that would have been ideal. I had moments of those times growing up, but it was hard. It was a hard way to grow up as a little kid. And so I didn't want to live polygamy as an adult because it looked too hard and too painful. And she's living it. And so if that was 15 years ago, that was early on in there. Now she's living it and seeing really how difficult it is as an adult in it.
So a lot of people, so that's what he says. It's not necessarily that they were trying to lie. It's just that you have to fake being happy. You have to fake everything you're doing because you're living your religion. You're living the gospel. You're living the things that you have been born and bred to do because we were sold a story that we were the most elite, that we had to do this because we were the most elite. God chose us. And how do you decline an invitation from God when you were a choice? And so it's not that they are wanting to deceive the public or lie to the public. It's just that they, in order to defend their way of life, they have to pretend to be happy.
Well, and this is where Robin is actually, she's still living her belief system, because in the belief system, if you were to get up and say, this is miserable, this is hard, the judgment would come at you as you are not living, you're not close enough to God.
Yeah.
You're not following the teachings that the leaders are teaching you. It is your fault that it is hard.
Right.
They deny that it's hard for everybody.
Right.
And Robin is saying, basically, I was living it, I'm close to God. She doesn't want to deny that it was hard. She was doing it perfect. Cody and the other wives failed at this.
Right.
So, because she's still close to God.
Right. And so, yeah, a lot of people want to say, there's other polygamous families that have come on TV, and a lot of people want to say, well, look how happy that family was. I promise you they're not. I promise you they might communicate a little bit better than what the Browns have shown us, but they are not just as happy. They tolerate their lifestyle because they've made promises and commitments to each other.
And it's their way of getting to heaven.
And they're as happy as they can be under the circumstances. They just are trying to make the best out of a situation. All right. So this one is the one that's gotten the whole internet in a storm. So let's take a look at this.
Say her name. I want to forget she existed. And yet I've got to interact with her kids.
Her kids, your kids too.
Yeah. Our
Like
kids.
your kids.
We've got, so I want to interact with our kids.
I mean, everybody was so proud of Michael for saying that. This unfortunately is very common speech for polygamous men. It's that wife's house. It's that wife's children. It's that wife's debt. It's that wife's obligation. It's that wife's problem. Because the men claim all ownership until there's an issue, and then they claim none. Then it's the wife's problem. Then it's the wife's responsibility. Then it's the wife. Yeah. If the children come out gay, lesbian, that's on the wife. She didn't do what she was supposed to do. If they come out not following the religion, that's on the wife. She didn't do what she was supposed to do. So they claim all ownership until there is a perceived problem. And then that's on the wife. And unfortunately, this is not, Cody is not the exception to this. He is the rule. My father has referred to all of his children by your mom's children, your mom's your mom's, and this is how polygamous men identify their children.
They take ownership when it's trying to get in. Those children need his priesthood leadership to get them into heaven, but he will not take ownership in the raising or the communication or anything like that with the kids. And the interesting part here to me was Cody and Robin have been communicating too much. He has, what I saw here is he hasn't communicated a lot with the outside people, his kids, other family members, even his own family members. So Michael's coming in as a third party going, wait a minute, those are your kids too. And waking him up, because when he's having conversations with Robin, those are Christine's kids or Janelle's kids or Mary's kids. They're not, or your kids. She'll talk to him about your kids. She's not even, as the most wonderful sister wife, including that those are her kids too. And she is talking completely, they both are talking completely about the family unit only being him, her, and their children.
Right.
So that she has excluded that in her talk. He's excluded it in his talk, and they've probably been talking for years now that way. And so it takes Michael coming in, dude, those are your kids too.
Well, and we'll see if moving forward he changes his language. I almost guarantee you he doesn't. I almost guarantee you he keeps referring to the children as Christine's and Janelle's, and because these men don't take, like, a perfect example is when I got married in the endowment house, all of a sudden I became my father's daughter. Oh, my daughter Melanie is getting married in a polygamous relationship. But my sister, who's only 17 months younger than me, wanted to have nothing to do with it. And then it was, oh, Sherlin's daughter. Oh, you're, and so that's where the ownership will bounce back and forth. If you are doing something that validates their, look how wonderful of a parent I am, that my child is succeeding, then it's now my child.
Yeah.
And not all polygamous men are this way. I just want to clear that up. Not all polygamous men are this way. Some genuinely take ownership of all of their children, but more often than not, this is what they do. They dip out when things get hard. They dip on their responsibilities and their children too. And so, of course, everyone on the internet went crazy when Michael said that, and rightfully so.
Well, and I'm sure that when he's talking privately with Robin, he is speaking that way, because if he was saying, hey, our kid, she would be like, well, that's not, they hate me, they're da-da-da-da. And so correcting him so that he is communicating that way. And he's been used to communicating that way for 5 years now. So,
right. So then he talks about how Christine, which is funny because when Christine's on her talking, she's talking about Garrison. They're talking about how the family, but Cody's always talking about Christine and how angry he is with her, or he's always talking about Mary, how angry he is, or Janelle. So he goes on there and he says, Christine just needs to be happy and move on. Dude, she's moved on. You're the one who hasn't moved on. And then he's like, and then he goes, Robin and I are still bitter over this experience. It was your life. It was your whole life you're bitter over. And then he goes on to correct himself. Yeah, I can see how that's hypocritical of him. He's such a hypocrite right here. It's unreal, because Janelle these women, he says something stupid and they go make money off of it. they say something stupid and he whines about it on 4 or 5 episodes.
Well, you'll know that Cody is over the relationship, which I don't think he'll ever get over.
He'll
be
whine
a
about this
victim
till
of
they
it.
pull the show off the TV.
Yeah, but when he starts to reminisce about, I mean, he did it a little bit with Mary, where he got emotional, and so yeah, same with this home. I consider this kind of the Mary home because he got emotional a little bit, but wants nothing to do with it. As they're leaving this home. So
Yeah.
got some emotions, some nostalgia about this home, but I don't want anything to do with this home.
Right.
So,
well, and then he goes on to say, he asks Michael, are you curious if polygamous people are happy? And Michael's like, no, I was never, because he's like, are you not going to live polygamy because I failed at it? I'm like, dude, everything is about you, isn't it? He literally thinks everything's about him. Like, Michael's going to make an eternal salvation decision based on his big brother's failure. No, he's not. And so they come back and they say, no, polygamous people are not happy. And we've had people email us and DM us saying, don't say that I'm not happy when I am happy. People who are currently living polygamy, my family members, other people have emailed us and said that. But I don't know one genuinely happy person who is living polygamy. I don't. I don't know a genuinely happy family. I don't know a genuinely happy couple. They're as happy as they can be under the circumstances. They're making the best that they can out of the life that they have chosen. That doesn't mean that they find joy or peace or serenity or happiness. And this is why Cody's always chasing this, is because it just isn't there in this lifestyle. And they can say whatever they want, and I'll probably get a bunch of hate emails over this comment, but I don't know one. Do you know any families that are genuinely happy? Cory's like, I gotta be careful. I'm gonna get hate mail.
No, it's not even that. It's, you were taught that happiness looked like a certain
right. And so you don't know that you're not happy because you've never experienced something different.
Happiness is having a big family. Happy. Yes, I am happy. I feel this joy or fulfillment. Are they fulfilled based off what they've been told that fulfillment looks like?
Yeah.
And so, but if you have, I don't know, happiness within the, you can feel happy doing a sin or doing this, but that's sinful. And so it's your thought pattern about what happiness, you're told happiness looks like. And so then you mark off all the boxes. Yes, I have
this.
3 wives. Yes, I do this. Yes, we pay our tithing. Yes, we do this. Yes, so I should be happy. So yes, this is what happiness feels like. So
exactly, because
I didn't know what fulfillment and happiness was. Okay, I know my scriptures. I know this. I know that. I should be happy. So
why aren't I?
But because I'm not praying enough, or I'm not doing this, or not doing that. So if they deny that they're happy, they're basically denying that they're not close enough to God. So I am happy because God is blessing me and doing all of this stuff, but I didn't know what a lot of my emotions were growing up as a kid because they were explained completely different to me.
Right.
So I had a lot of shame that I had anger or sadness or happiness, joy when I shouldn't. So yeah. So it's
so it is very hard, and you don't identify your emotions. We were not taught to identify our emotions. We were taught to avoid and shut down and move to a new place to find serenity if that's what you need to do. And that's what you've seen Cody Brown do. And then they kick into a memory of Christine or Mary and Cody about Cody cutting down a Christmas tree and it landing on his truck. Again, this is an example of how Mary, there's a nostalgia there. There's a happiness there that Mary is giving Cody. She's laughing about it. She's talking about it. And yet you don't see Robin doing this with Cody. You see Christine, Janelle, and Mary, not Robin.
Yeah, because Robin's never been around when that version of Cody was around.
Right.
So she might have seen a glimpse of it at the very beginning, but as soon as she came in,
she changed it.
She started to instantly
Mm-hmm.
Twist it into the new Cody. So
Now she doesn't like the man she's created.
Yep.
She doesn't seem to like him, at least. And then the boys start.
She's brought out his true character, is what I would say.
Right.
He shut down a lot of his emotions, probably, and
so then the men start talking about their dad and Wynn and how he did not enter polygamy until he was 53, at the same age that Cody was leaving polygamy. That's very common for converts to come in very late in life, and start a whole new family at that point. And so he starts talking about like this raw passion, raw emotion, raw, what did he call it? That Janelle's mom basically explained the way that she fell in love with Cody's dad. And he's like, it was just raw manlyhood, raw attraction that she had to this man. And this is where I have been so kind of frustrated with Cody, because so many times we are taught from small children that it's not about a physical appearance. It's about a spiritual connection. It's about fulfilling God's law, and it's a spiritual connection. And yet this man continually, and most all polygamous men do this, they continually refer to the woman's looks. They continually refer to how the raw, unfiltered, manly emotion that they want to, that gets women turned on and gets them turned on. And that's what he's saying. His dad brought that in because his dad was a cowboy. His dad was this, his dad was that. So at 53 years old, these women are asking to be a part of this man's family because he's just sexy. That's what it is. There's not necessarily the religion aspect of it. So he's trying to, once again, diminish the religious aspect of it by saying, no, these men wanted my dad because he was hot and sexy.
These women.
Or yeah. Oh, what did they say?
You said these men wanted.
Oh, no, sorry. These women wanted his dad because he was just plain old hot and sexy.
Well, again, I feel like that's him maybe talking.
Projecting.
Well, it's Janelle loves him for his 6-pack abs. You know what I mean? These women are loving him for his physical, but he is so much higher as a priesthood holder because he's loving them as wives, and he's not necessarily attracted to them.
But he was doing
his
duty,
responsibility,
and his priesthood duty.
They're just jealous because Robin was the first one he was attracted to, or something like that. So
right. So this statement right here, I about threw something at the television when he said this. I was so angry. So let's watch this one really quick. This is going to be a long episode. If you can't tell, we still have a page and a half of notes. So here we go.
I'm done.
Oh, come on.
That was raw attraction. I don't know what it is. I'm telling you, because I hit an age where I just don't think they were into me anymore. To be fair, I go back and forth because I'm to a point where I don't want to blame polygamy anymore, but you make these connections that you assume are correct. And you do that sometimes when you're dating with marriage.
All right. You make these connections that you assume are correct. That's how you date in the AUB. You make a connection that you pray about, you assume that it's correct, you assume that it's something that you're supposed to do, and then you hold on to that come hell or high water for the rest of your life, and you never get out of it.
And there's a reason why. And it's because you have to get permission from the prophet, seer, and revelator, the PSR, the man who speaks to God, and he has to give permission for you to get married. God would never give permission for you to get married if it wasn't
his will
ordained.
Yep.
And so their assumption is if they asked about this woman to come into the family and God knew it was wrong, he would tell the PSR, the prophet, to say, no, you don't get to marry that wife. But because the prophet, seer, and revelator has also approved it, the family has approved it, God has approved this union.
Yep.
Are you going to question God? So,
right. And so then he goes in there because
assumption.
They're obviously not going to question God, right? So it must be his physical appearance. It must be that he hit an age where his wives just were not that into him anymore. This man is so shallow. He professed such levels of depth at the beginning of this whole series. 15 years ago, he had all this depthness to him. It was all about religion. And now he's like, nope, they weren't digging me anymore. They weren't into me physically. And so they checked out. And I'm like, that is the biggest projection. One of the biggest projections I've ever heard him do.
But he's being honest now about his actual feelings.
I wasn't.
The other wives are the only one that I don't feel is still. She talks out both sides of her mouth is Robin. So
right.
she's the one that I'm like, oh my gosh, she's still playing the game.
Yep.
So because she still wants to be a part, she still is looking for that ticket into heaven. So.
Yeah. And so it's not even that. This is another way that Cody was a victim, because he suffered through these intimate relationships with these women that he was not physically attracted to, because it was God's will.
God ordained it. So
God ordained it. And so he suffered through that. But now these women have hit an age where, he's hit an age where they're just not that into him, and they're choosing out now. They just don't want to be around him anymore because they don't find him physically attractive. Look what he suffered all these years.
He chose in
to be intimate with you and create 6 children with you when you ate nachos like a slob. This is again where this man becomes a victim, and he tries to make himself look so noble, and he's so, look at me on my big pedestal. I suffered this for you because God ordained this, and we created 6 children together, even though I didn't enjoy any of it.
And I didn't choose out.
And I didn't choose, yeah, exactly.
Emotionally, I chose out, but
yeah,
covenant wise, I didn't choose out.
There's
Shame
my
on
whole
you guys.
This whole episode infuriated me at so many different levels, because I have an ex-husband who said some of these similar things, and I've watched my father treat my mothers this way. I've watched so many men treat these women this way that are just objects for them. And then when their conviction, their religious conviction is no longer enough, it must be all about him and his physical appearance. And so then Michael is just saying, so Cody was like, so you don't want to live this way because you watched me fail. And Michael's like, no, I've watched a lot of marriages fail, a lot of relationships
a lot
fail.
of polygamous relationships fail. We have too. I have seen a majority of the polygamous relationships that I knew or that I'm close and intimate, that part of the family fall apart. They no longer exist. So
right. And it's
just the way it is. So I would say almost, they say in half of marriages in America fall apart. I would say that's just based on my experience and the people that I've seen, that percentage is so much higher 70, within the AUB.
Maybe 78% of marriages fail.
75.
Oh, well, yeah. In Cody's situation, 75% of his marriages failed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be 100 in 3 years. So.
Right. And so, no, a lot of young people don't want to live this way because the failure rate is so high. But yeah, it's just one more reason why Cody has been victimized. You know, one of the reasons why he suffered so much to love Christine, all of the things he suffered to love her. And now she just wants to choose out. Who the hell does she think she is? And so then they go on to talk about the Dargers and how Maddie and McKelty are talking about. Wait, I want to cover that one thing that Cody said, was that in this religion, you're kind of strangers with your wife until all of a sudden you're not. Because there's not a courtship, there's a dating process where you're intimately dating one-on-one. It's 100, you're group dating, or you're dating a man that already has wives. So you're dating a husband already. So you're dating him and his wives. You're not dating just him. So you are literally strangers when you get married. What were you going to say?
No. And once the prophet gives approval, you got to schedule the old marriage ceremony and everything, but that's almost like God has said, yes, you may get married. So they try to work as quickly as they can to get the marriage done so they can get on to the having kids. So
Right. And okay, so then Maddie and McKelty are talking about McKelty had just read Joe Darger's book, which I guess I didn't realize he had a book. We might pull that out on our book club sometime. But Maddie throws it out there that Joe Darger's been successful in his marriages. And Maddie throws out, I love Maddie's little one-line zingers, because she's like, why? Because he loved all of his wives. And that's the truth. Cody stopped loving his wives. That's why his relationships failed.
Well,
go ahead.
I don't know. He started loving one he started disregarding or trusting that those other wives loved him tons, and so he put all of his energy into Robin.
Yeah.
And eventually those wives got exhausted of it and left, but they still have nostalgia for it. And I think that eventually, as he's watching this and watching his own series, he's going to have nostalgia on it once, because they lived through some hard times and made it through. And so, but they couldn't withstand the tornado of Robin. So when she does leave, I think he'll look back with some nostalgia.
I hope so. I hope he sees it.
We'll see.
But one of the things Janelle said is the reason Joe Darger is because it's a character of a man, and she feels like that's where Cody failed. Cody's character was not up to par to be able to live this lifestyle. And then she talks about... and
that is because one of the teachings and one of the belief systems within the AUB is you have to be equal with each wife.
Right.
And Cody didn't have that ability. Once Robin came in, it just was too overwhelming for him. He didn't have that ability to be equal with each wife.
Right.
He even states it that he has to go above and beyond to, what was it, sacredly protect Robin or some...
We'll get to that here in just a second. Yeah. Okay. Watch this little clip here.
Excellent with his kids and his family.
Before we ever went public, I knew Joe Darger, and Joe had a really decent beginning of success, I think, because his wives were all culturally homogenous. They were related. They understood plural marriage from a perspective. And I think they've been very successful.
They were raised in it. They all believe that this is the way they get to celestial kingdom. The only ones out, Cody had that same thing. So the only ones that were not, whatever the word he used, homogenous, was him and maybe Janelle. So the other three,
Christine, Mary, and Robin were all raised in it.
And so I can understand what he's saying there, but Joe Darger also didn't bring in a way younger wife like Robin. He probably wouldn't date a Robin. So,
and I knew Joe Darger and his family personally, and they struggled. They struggled like any other family. They are not perfect in the way that they lived this religion, and the wives struggled with each other. Absolutely, they did. But I love the way Christine describes this, that there's architects and then there's firemen, and architects build their lives where firemen are constantly going around putting out fires. And that's what Cody did, because he wasn't purposeful about the way he lived his life. He just allowed things to happen. He allowed people to come in there like Robin and destroy something that he had built. And so that's why he's putting out fires all the time instead of being purposeful and building the life that he wanted. I do give Joe Darger a lot of credit for that he was very purposeful on how he wanted to build his family. But they're like any other family. They struggle too. It's not an easy, yeah. Okay. So this next clip that I want to show you, this one, I wanted to scream. This is why this video is going so long. We got to start wrapping this up. Okay. Let's see this right here.
I felt like I was devoted to our family and to plural marriage, but then I struggled to be devoted specifically to every single wife, and vice versa. I don't think the wives were devoted to me or to each other as a whole.
Got a great idea.
Okay. The reason I struggle so hard with that statement is because this jackass, these women were so devoted to him that it was unreal, because the first time they heard their husband having sex with another wife down the hall, because they all lived in a trailer together, those women would have been gone. But they didn't. They stayed. They stayed because they were devoted to their religion. They were devoted to him. They were devoted to each other. So for him to even have even just the tiniest bit of disrespect for what those women had to go through, especially in those early years when they are trying to figure out the minute I hear my husband having sex with somebody else, I'm out. I'm done. You have to be that devoted to your religion, that devoted to your husband, that devoted to your sister wives and to these children to stay and put up with that kind of bullshit for 25 years. And he has the nerve to stand there and say, I wasn't devoted to them. And frankly, they weren't devoted to me either. That is one of the most insulting things that I think I've ever heard this man say, because he has no idea what these women did for him and for each other and what they tolerated. The abuse, the emotional abuse, the spiritual abuse, and hopefully not physical abuse that this man has put them, mental abuse that this man has put them through.
Well, and I think it's, again, where he's trying to say,
it's infuriating.
Yeah, well, he's trying to say I wasn't as devoted as I should have been to them, but
they weren't
either. So that he justifies the reason that he
justifies his failure trying to prove other people's what he perceives as other people's failure.
Yeah, if they had been more devoted, then I would have been more devoted.
Well, and it goes right back to what he said earlier. You haven't seen anything. When he says, the last 5 years have been so hard, you haven't seen jack. Well, he hasn't seen jack of what these women have tolerated to put up with him for him and for this family.
He has, but like he said it perfectly when Christine said that she was didn't like polygamy.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yeah, oh, you're going through something hard? I'll just delete that. I'll ignore that. So it has nothing to do with me, and moved on. So,
and then we go to, they're saying their last goodbyes to the house. Robin and Cody are in the house with all their little kids that aren't so little, and they're all in the house. And the thing that I really struggle with, and you pointed this out too, is the fact that they are playing this up as if they were driven from their home because of all of the bad memories and all the remorse and all of the, I wrote it down, poisoned by memories of the past that are ruining Cody's future. And so they've basically been driven out into the desert of it's almost like he could be a Bible story right now.
Yeah, the Exodus. So he's leaving the telestial kingdom home, and now they're doing the Exodus up to their celestial kingdom home. So, they have gone through.
Sorry for us. Look what we've gone through.
This is the trials. This is their tears. This is what they have had to go through. This is why Robin has spoke to God for them so much and been so close to God, so God can provide them their celestial kingdom home. So,
and again, God does not give you a blessing because you lied, stole, and cheated someone else out of what? Money, family, resources. God does not bless people for stuff like that.
Well, their God does.
Their God does.
Okay, so you can't do the blanket. Their God does.
So then they get in a family circle to thank God for the blessing of that property. The blessing of that property came from Mary's equity and Janelle's equity, and it was a family asset.
Allegedly.
Based on what we've seen,
from what Robin said, it was a family asset.
Again, we haven't seen that episode. We just have seen a clip on it. But yeah, it's infuriating to watch that, because it's like, we're so downhearted and down, our hearts are so heavy. Brianna, how are you feeling about having to move? I don't know how I feel. I feel like, oh my gosh, this is terrible that God blessed us with a $2.2 million home.
But we're excited. But I don't know if we should be able to say that on TV.
Can we say that on TV? Or do we have to look like we are downtrodden because
Well,
we were driven from our home.
Well, and a lot of times too, that I'd like to point out too, that the kids a lot of times are looking at their parents to see what kind of emotions they have so that they can duplicate
Are my
those.
emotions appropriate for this
'cause I'm
situation?
excited about moving to this, but they're doing this, so I'm going to duplicate that. Oh yeah, I don't know what to think type
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly.
So it is one of those things, and then
Okay, and then we get to another infamous scene that we've seen all over the internet all week long, and this one was extremely disturbing to us as well.
In whatever way, couldn't handle that I was willing to fight so much to make sure that Robin was safely kept. What do you think, sweetie?
Again, it's not that they were so upset that he was willing to safely keep Robin. This man and his words. It was the fact that he wasn't willing to do that for everyone
for the
else.
whole family.
For he wasn't willing to do that for his own biological children.
He villainized the rest of the family.
Exactly.
Or she villainized herself against the rest of the family, and he needed to make a choice to stay with her.
Exactly.
So
again, this man wants to blame everyone else for what he didn't do. Wants to blame everyone else for, you know what? Just care even slightly about Truly, who is the same age or just slightly older than Solomon. Just care a little bit about your new grandchildren. Just safely keep your entire family, because that is what you promised God you would do. You promised God you would safely keep your entire family, that you would hold your entire family with honor and respect, and you would make sure that they were all safely kept, not just Robin. That wasn't the promise that you made to God. And yet now he wants to act like he's the victim because people are upset that he didn't keep his word.
Well, if he had safely kept his family, like he's saying and everything,
right,
he probably wouldn't have dated Robin.
He wouldn't have. He wouldn't have, because those wives could see what Robin was going to do to that family. Christine
they had red flags coming up, and they just ignored them all.
Exactly.
Because Cody was so excited about getting a new young wife.
Because Cody's physical, tangible desires of life meant more to him than his eternal family.
But don't sit there and
blame your family for that.
About that you
stirred up jealousies for Robin. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
You didn't take care of your family. That's what you didn't do. Yeah. That one angered me so much. This whole episode angered me, which is one of the reasons why it's taken us a hot minute to make the video, because it's just so infuriating to watch this man literally blame the entire world for what he didn't do. Okay, and then we get to the final scene of Robin saying, I had to go in and say my own goodbye to this house because I don't trust Cody to say the right goodbye, so I got to go say my own goodbye.
No, he says the prayer and does it, and then it just switched to her scene because she is closer to God.
So she's got to give.
And so she's going to be the one that she trusts Cody to say pretty words and everything, but she instantly was like, okay, that's it type thing. And then she comes in, I had to say my own because I'm more righteous than Cody. I'm more connected to God. I'm more connected to our religion. So I had to say goodbye in a different way.
And then we finally got tears and the wiping of the tears. And we finally got the tears over how sad she is, because this was the last place that the entire family got together. This was the last place that they were a family. No, Robin, the last time that they were a family was before you came in and destroyed this entire family. So I wrote an acronym on my page, all in capital letters, STFU, Robin, with exclamation points. If you don't know what that acronym is, feel free to look it up. But because she is over here. So yeah, you don't know what that acronym is? STFU.
Yes, I do.
And because she's over here having her sadness and her heartbreak over that was the last time that the family was together. And so now she's trying to create a new place.
It's a different version of that, right?
Yeah, you need to shut up. Yeah, mine's just not as nice of an acronym. And so the fake tears and the fake wiping of the tears is just infuriating for me to watch this, when I have seen so many Robins come in and tear apart families like this and then sit there and play victim. Like we were driven from our home because of the poison of the memories.
I think Robin should talk more. So because
Maybe it'll warn other
will have
polygamous
shown
families.
more people the characteristics. I mean,
Right.
she's talking all, but I want her to talk more. I want to see where she, because right now she's trying to be so composed. She's saying everything that she's been trained to as a kid, as within the AUB, to say all the pretty words and do all of that stuff. But if you can get her riled up just enough, then she'll say exactly what she's thinking.
Yep.
So,
and then she'll show you who she really is.
She really is.
So
she needs to talk more.
That's our analysis of this episode.
Yep.
There was so much going on. I know a lot of people are like, this is so boring. This is like first 4 episodes are of people moving, but that's where you see the juice of people's characters. That's where you see really how people, why they justify what they do, why they, that's where you see some of that. It's not in the whole, birthday parties or get-togethers. It's in these moments where they tell you who they actually are and why they do what they do. So this was a longer episode.
Yeah, Cody's just trying to say things too in his roundabout way, but I'm just going, oh yeah, he's been miserable all the way around for years.
And she is too. You can see it. They just look miserable every time they get on there and talk. She's got a frown, he's got a frown. It's like,
and he's wanting to now, okay, now they're all gone. Now it's all, let's get back into our dating mode. And she's,
come throw those hips on me.
That's never who she did that to trap him. Yeah. True. The minute she became legal night wife number 1, I'm guarantee all that stuff, that was the work that she needed to put in to get what she needed. And then it's just like, now I'm
smooth sailing. Let me collect your
now I'm righteous, and I'm going to set it up so that if he doesn't do everything that he's supposed to do, which he didn't, he lost 3 wives.
75% failure rate.
That's all his fault. So
let us know what you guys think in the comments. Let us know if you agreed with us, disagreed with us, what you see, what you saw that was different episode. Yeah. And then also don't forget to like and subscribe and share the video if you find value in it. Also, if you do find value, there is a hype option when you go down to the comment section. You cannot hype live videos, but you can hype regular videos. All you have to do is go down to the comment section and swipe right, and it's going to say hype. If you hype our video, then it lets YouTube know that this is a good video. You can hype a video up for the first 7 days that it's on YouTube. And then YouTube will push it out more to more people if the more hypes it gets. So if you found any value of this, don't forget to hype that. Don't forget to hit your bell for notifications if we go live. We've been doing some surprise lives lately. And then we still have our book club on Tuesdays. I think we have 1 more, maybe 2 more book clubs that we're going to be doing on Christine Brown Woolley's book, Sister Wife. So join us for those if you'd like to do that. If you want to see our past episodes, they're in our playlist. I've created playlists for each one of our videos.
And thanks everybody who is supporting us through our buying our
merchandise.
Notorious Revelation. Is that what it? Yeah, the Notorious Revelation shirts and all of our paraphernalia. We love that. So,
and if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you for sticking in here with us. This was a really long one. There was a lot to talk about on this episode. So we will see you guys on the next one.
All right. Thanks, guys.